A very pleasant morning, dear students. Welcome to English class. As we have already started the lesson, the invention of Vita-Wonk. Vita-Wonk is the medicine. It's a chemical substance, the medicine, which is being prepared or invented by Mr. Willy Wonka. And he proudly says that he has collected something from each one of the animals which are very ancient. Ancient animals, from ancient animals, and the things which are lying or existing right from the beginning of this world, he had collected everything. Now we can see the conversation between Charlie and Wonka, and he started speaking to Charlie like this. All over the world, Charlie, Mr. Wonka went on, I tracked down very old and ancient animals. What did he do? He tracked down. What does it mean by tracking down? Means found by searching for it. Something that you find it out is nothing but tracking. He tracked down a very old and ancient animals and took an important little bit from each one of them. Something or the other, maybe the hair, or maybe the teeth, or the skin, something else. He has collected from different kinds of ancient animals because he wanted to prepare, one medicine which can make the people get much younger. A hair or an eyebrow, or sometimes it was no more than an ounce or two of the jam scraped from between its toes while it was sleeping. Actually, when we approach animals in order to get something out from them, we need to be more careful. We need to protect ourselves because otherwise we will get a kind of problem, or we may face any harm. So it's not advisable to get closer to animals. When you wanted to get close to animals, you need to get protected. You have to be protected. Here, in order to collect something, a little scrap from their body part, like a hair or an eyebrow, or sometimes we have seen whiskers of a cat, the blackness of the teeth of an old man, and the sap from the trees, etc., etc. He collected from all the living things something or the other by approaching them. It was not that very easy job. If you wanted to explore something, or if you wanted to find out something, this is not that very easy. You need to struggle a bit. You need to face such hinders. You may face some hinders, some disturbances. So he too has he too has faced many disturbances in order to collect the small little scrap of something from the animals. He went to the toes and it was sleeping. When the animal is sleeping, he used to go to the toes of some animals, because he has collected some clippings of the nails, isn't it? And he also collected the hair part of the horse. Collecting the hairy growth of the tail of a horse is not that very easy. Approaching such animals, because when the animals get irritated, they may scratch us, kick us, or maybe biting us. So this is not at all fine. But Wonka approached, and he had faced some instances where there was danger, and he had collected something or the other as a scrap from the animals. And I tracked down the whistle pig. He went to the whistle pig, the bobolink, the sackrock, and the polyfrog, the giant curlicue, and the stinging slug, and the other venomous squircle. Actually, you might have not heard even the names of these animals, no? According to me, I never heard. whistling pig, maybe the huge mighty pig, polyfrog, those two things I know. Even slug also I know. Slug, stinging slug, and secroc, bobolink, giant curlicue, and venomous. Venomous means poisonous. Venomous squircle. Who can spit poison right into your eye from 50 yards away? Actually, approaching squircle is not an easy task, because being away from the animal, what is the the distance? 50 yards of distance. From 50 yards of distance, this venomous squircle can spit out the poison. So it is very dangerous. Spit. Please underline the word spit. Okay, spit and poison also. Venomous is nothing but poison. It can let out the poison out from its mouth from some 50 yards of distance. It can spray it away, okay, send it out into our eyes. Okay, the vision of us will get affected. So when we are not at all careful, okay, when we are dealing with squircle, especially the venomous squircle, we should be very careful. But there's no time to tell you about them all now, Charlie. Okay, if I wanted to, if you let me say something or explaining something, it's not that very easy, isn't it? Why? There are certain problems, there are certain kinds of objections, there are certain dangers to approach such ancient animals, because some animals are venomous and some animals really chase us and kill us also. And let me just say quickly that in the end, I just wanted to tell you something very important, what kind of instances that I had faced. Okay, here Willy Wonka was talking to Charlie. This is a conversation took place between Charlie and Willy Wonka. After lots of boiling and bubbling and mixing and testing in my inventing room. What does it mean by inventing room? There is nothing but the science lab. Inventing room is nothing but science lab. In science lab, whatever the clippings of nails, toenails of some animal, and the very oldest egg of a tortoise, and also the whiskers of a cat, and the tail of a rat, all these things, the little scraps that he had collected, and he started boiling them and let them bubble it and mixing with some other things, and finally he started testing that substance in the inventing room. I produced one tiny cupful of oily black liquid and gave 4 drops of it to a brave 20-year-old Oompa Loompa volunteer to see what happened. So after preparation of the medicine, usually the medicine must be tested on people, isn't it? Before we test on people, especially the scientists test on people, usually they test on other animals. Okay? In order to test it also, the people should come forward voluntarily. That is also, everybody cannot go for it. The people, those who have good guts, they only can approach, they only can go forward and let it get tested. Okay, I produced one tiny cupful of oily black liquid. What was the substance that was boiled and bubbled and started testing in the inventing room? It's a black liquidized matter. This black liquidized matter, out of it, how many drops? Some 4 drops of it should be swallowed by a volunteer. Whoever comes forward in order to get it, go on with this test, the volunteer has to be taken. Okay, this substance must be tried well on the person, then only it can be given to someone. 4 drops of it to a brave 20-year-old Oompa Loompa volunteer to see what happened. Okay, they just check on the person after it's been tried on somebody. Okay, it's been given to someone. What happened? Charlie asked. Charlie was very anxious. He just wanted to know what really happened when it was tested on the volunteer Oompa Loompa. Okay, then what was his reply? It was fantastic, cried Mr. Wonka. The moment he swallowed it, he began wrinkling and shriveling up all over, and his hair started dropping off and his teeth started falling out, and before I knew it, he had suddenly become an old fellow of 75. What happened? Oompa Loompa was middle-aged man. When he had swallowed some 4 drops of this black substance, liquidized substance, what happened first? His skin started wrinkling, got folded and shriveling up. It was shriveling up all over, and his hair started dropping off. He was losing his hair and his teeth started falling out, and before I knew it, he had suddenly become very old. Right in front of my eyes, this Willy Wonka says that the man became so old. After he gets old, again he come back to young stage. Actually, that is the procedure of getting the growth. Okay. Then, and thus, my dear Charlie was Vita-Wonk invented. Okay, what he says? This is the way I just invented the medicine Vita-Wonk. So I named this medicine as Vita-Wonk. I just wanted to know how a scientific research or scientific knowledge can be improved when we start trying it. Without trials or without having any proper way of doing things, even if you wanted to gain some scientific knowledge, you should know how you have to go about it. Okay, unless you know how you need to get invented the things, what you have to do? You will be struggling a bit. So what is very essential? Interest is very essential. Okay, and having a great thirst for knowledge is very it's very important. Okay, so we all need to develop a great thirst to learn about something. Here Willy Wonka had tried it, isn't it? Willy Wonka really tried it and finally he got success. I don't know whether Oompa Loompa had become younger or he remained only old. We will see. Okay, it is a suspense where Willy Wonka left us and even Charlie too. I think you might have understood this lesson well, and this is such a funniest story. Okay, nobody knows what happened to Oompa Loompa, whether he had got young or younger, but definitely everybody knows that he became old. Okay, and in the next class we will go about the textual exercises. Until we meet again, goodbye children, take care. Bye.